tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life, that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you.
But she is dead.
A police officer is being investigated after body-worn camera captured him making seemingly insensitive comments about a victim of a traffic accident. Seattle police released the video. Reports identified the officer as Mike Audit, who is also the vice president of the Seattle Police Officers Guild. He was reportedly speaking on the phone to the Guild's president after leaving the scene of an accident in which another officer struck and killed a pedestrian with a police vehicle. 23-year-old grad student Janavi Kandula was pronounced dead at a local hospital.
Yeah, just write a check. Just... Yeah, $11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
KTTH reports that Auditor wrote a statement to investigators claiming he was mocking how he believed lawyers would devalue the life of the victim. Auditor acknowledged in the statement that anyone listening to his side of the conversation alone, quote, would rightfully believe I was being insensitive to the loss of human life. The comment was, quote, not made with malice or a hard heart, he claimed, but, quote, quite the opposite. The Guild hasn't publicly commented on the video. The Seattle Police Department says it will not comment.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
All right, so listen to this one. This one here, again, I want to try to...
Like a splinter in your mind.
The videos that I show, some of them, I really love the ones that I can catch when an officer doesn't know his body camera's on, when an officer or officers or departments are not happy with a video that's released before they can get a hold of it and release it to the public as they see fit. And it just goes to show you how brutal these officers are. And like I said, they're like convicts with badges, straight up.
Yeah, so it's being released by Seattle Police, as you mentioned, because of this whistleblower. This is really the only reason why we know anything about this. Apparently, according to a statement Seattle Police released, said that this was an employee just doing their job and in the course of the routine work heard this conversation. It's a one-sided conversation inside that police cruiser recorded on a body cam that was apparently the officer didn't know was on or left it on beyond the scope of the time that he was supposed to be conducting what he was doing on scene. The employee hears this, they flag it up the pole essentially to the chief's office, and then because it's now in the accountability office, it has to be released to the public, and that's how we're able to hear it. What's on it, Gotti? I mean, it sounds awful, right? It sounds like a blatant disregard for human life, for the badge, for sense and sensibility, for protecting and serving, which is the oath that police officers take. But that's just how it sounds. I want to play another section of it, which pertains to put a price on this woman's life after she was killed. Listen.
Before we listen to that, we're going to see how this sounds. But also, I want you to remember that
into this.
No, it's a regular person. Yeah, just write a check. Just... Yeah, $11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
Now, it's important to say that this is one half of a two-sided conversation. We only hear one voice. He's talking to somebody else.
Wait till you find out who's on the other line. That's what we want to hear, though. Not many people are talking about who's on the other line. Who's he talking to? You know what I mean?
This is a few seconds of a clip that could well be taken out of context. That is what the investigation is focused on. What is the context of what he's saying? Because there has been a statement released from this officer since this has all happened to say that no, what he was actually doing was mocking a conversation that would happen between two attorneys, sort of putting a price on her life, in essence showing the injustice that he believes would come from a situation this tragic. But this is his word. It is still early, and Gotti, it is still under investigation. Back to you.
Steve, what can you tell us about the officer that we hear talking?
Yeah, this is Daniel Otterer. He is a drug recognition officer, so he's on scene there. This recording that you're hearing is a day after this has all happened. He arrives on scene to essentially drug test the officer who strikes this woman. And in doing so, sort of figures out in part of the investigation whether or not that officer was impaired. But he's also the vice president of the Seattle Police Officer Association Guild, which is one of the most powerful, essentially, police unions in all of the Pacific Northwest.
The most what? Of where? Yeah.
He's on the other line, according to a document that was obtained by people looking into the investigation by a Michael Salon, who is the president of that guild. So these are two high-ranking people within a guild of officers representing thousands of police officers on the street. It's part of the reason why people are so worried about that department.
I'm telling you, something else is going on. It's bigger than wealthy. I think there's something else. It's deep, man. It's crazy. It's super evil. Strange.
Got it.
Wait, so the person on the line, do you mean the person on the phone with him? We know who that was?
Yes, we do. It is Michael Salon. He's the president of the Seattle Police Officer Guild. We haven't gotten a statement. We've, of course, reached out to both parties. We're waiting on a response. And we don't know what was said on the other end of that line. I think that's so important to say as we're sort of digging into the context of all this and part of what will, of course, be under investigation as this continues.
25 miles per hour. So it does not seem like there's a criminal investigation going on.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
You don't want the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. We use words like honor, code, loyalty. We use these words as the backbone of a life spent defending something. You use them as a punchline. I have neither the time nor the inclination to explain myself to a man who rises and sleeps under the blanket of the very freedom that I provide, and then questions the manner in which I provide it.
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.